If you need prayer or have questions, email Annamarie at 5minutesadayWithGod@gmail.com. Be sure to like and subscribe to our videos so that more people can hear the Word of God.
Good morning and welcome to Wednesday. And today we are going to look at the story in Genesis chapter 20 with Abraham and Abimelech. And there is, when you read this, you're going to feel a little bit like deja vu. Didn't this happen already? Which it did. And lots of times I remember in the past confusing these two stories because I thought, oh, did I already read that story? Because it's very similar to the one that happened in earlier chapters. So basically what we have here is Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed, and Abraham, where his family and his land and everything that he had was visually not too far from Sodom. So with Sodom getting destroyed, maybe it seemed too difficult to be there. So he moved his family. So he goes out and he moves his family, and they moved to Gerar. And then, so the king of Gerar sees them, and again, Abraham, what he does is he feels maybe threatened, and he's fearful. So Sarah is basically, she's a hottie, right? She's this beautiful woman, and again, he's worried that this king is going to take Sarah and kill Abraham, right? So he lies to protect himself, and he says, Sarah is my sister, which is true because she's his half-sister, but of course the relationship that's more prominent here is she's his wife. And so he lies, and he doesn't say that, and he says she's my sister. And so Abimelech goes and he sends for Sarah, and he takes her because he's thinking, she's just his sister, she's beautiful, I will take her. But again, this is the same lie that Abraham falls into. And so it's easy, if you think about it, to slip back into sinful habits, right? Instead of trusting God to keep his family together, he devised his own plan to do it, which completely fails. And I think also for us, sometimes we need to go back to what's that trigger, right? What's that trigger in us? For him, it was fear. It was the fear of feeling threatened by these kings. And so instead of trusting in God, he came up with his own plan, and he falls back into that same plan again when he feels threatened again, instead of realizing and addressing that issue, which is fear, and saying, God, I trust you. I trust you with my family. So God, who is gracious and merciful God, he intervenes, and he comes to Abimelech in a dream. And God has protected basically Abimelech for himself, because at this point he has not touched Sarah. And so God says, you better not touch her, continue not to touch her, and you better restore her back or you are going to die, right? And so despite Abraham's failure, God did not abandon him, right? God could be like, what is wrong with you, Abraham? You did this again. But he goes in and he takes care of Sarah, and he says, restore her back. And so Abimelech confronts Abraham. And what's interesting here is Abraham basically tries to justify his lies, and he blames God. We go back to the beginning of the garden, right? When Eve blamed God and believed that lie of like, God was withholding something from me. And she believed that lie and said, oh yeah, that's right. And so Abraham blames God and says, God sent me on this dangerous journey. So that's why I had to lie to protect myself, right? And so how many times have we done that? Maybe we blame God. God, you didn't give me what I wanted, so I had to do this, right? Or God, and we blame God for our own actions and our lack of faith. And so then here we see Abraham accepts Abimelech's gifts. Abimelech is like, okay, I do not need to mess with this man. So he's basically like, go on your way, Abraham, here's some gifts. But basically the thing is, Abraham should have given him gifts, right? Abraham was in the wrong here. And so, again, it goes back to our heart. And more often when we sin, there is this reason behind the sin, right? There's this motive, there's this issue. Again, for Abraham, it was fear. So I want you to spend some time thinking about that. Sometimes we think, oh, we just sin because it just comes out naturally, right? But lots of times, what's behind that sin, right? Lying could be, we want to look better than we are. We want to justify ourselves to other people and say, look at me, I'm good enough, I'm important. And so maybe we lie to self-promote or whatever it is. Or maybe there's the fear that God isn't going to be faithful to his word and provide. So we claw in our own ways, right? And cheat and steal or do the things that are out of fear. So think about that. What's sin? What's behind that sin? Many times, if we think about that and we can address that issue and go before God and say, God, I realize I'm fearful here, or I'm trying to present myself in a manner that is not me. Please forgive me. So I just wanted to encourage you to spend some time reflecting on that. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. And remember, 5 minutes in the Word can change your life.